Hello, hello. Welcome to our Wednesday Live. Today we're going to talk about the 60-second reset that every high-achieving woman needs. You know, most women think that they need to do more to fix their overwhelm. What if the 60 seconds, what if just 60 seconds were enough to reset your entire nervous system? To get you to a place where you go from feeling frenzied and frazzled to calm, in control, and in a place where you feel like you can handle anything that comes your way. If that's you, put a little heart and let me know if you are ready to feel different by the end of this live, because I want to give you the tools that you can use today so that you can go from stressed out, overwhelmed, and frazzled to being like, okay, I got this. I'm Jen Beck. For those of you I haven't met, I have been working with women for the last almost 25 years and helping them to reclaim their health, to recharge their lives, and to really reset the foundation so they can create a life that they love. And I just want you to know that you don't have to earn your rest. You do get to learn how to reset, though. And they're very different. You know, for so long, I would work and 60, 80 hours a week, and I wouldn't blink twice. How many of you guys can relate to that? Right? And I didn't know that that was bad or wrong because I was raised to have a good work ethic. And I got good grades and I got praise for getting good grades. And I did really well in my career. And it was rewarding to be able to have the external validation. But at some point, I got to a place where I was not thriving. I had put myself on a shelf and I was going through the motions of the day and I was doing all of the things, but I wasn't really like, oh, my life is awesome. Like I get to wake up today and I get to do this. It was more like, oh, I have to get up. I'd check my phone. I'd see the emails, my inbox, and it was full already. And then there'd be the text and all of the things that from the second I woke up in the morning was all of the things that I had to do that were weighing on me that I needed to accomplish. And I forgot to take care of me throughout the course of the day. And so I want to give you ladies an opportunity to reset and to truly get to a place where in 60 seconds, you can reset your nervous system. So now you're leading from presence, not control. You're responding and not reacting. And you're in a place where you are deciding how you want your day to go versus chasing your day throughout it. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is I'm going to teach you how to do a reset, right? It's a quick 60 seconds. So if you're ready for this, play along, give me a thumbs up. Okay. What we're going to do is called the heart hold and breathe. Okay. Super simple. Put one hand over your heart. And I just want you to take a long, deep inhale. We're going to count 4 seconds. Inhale. And then hold it for 2 seconds. And then exhale for 6 seconds. We're going to do that 2 more times. I encourage you to close your eyes, really get in touch with your heart. See if you can feel your heart beating underneath your heart. Ready? Take a deep inhale, 4 seconds. Hold. And then exhale for 6 seconds. One more. Deep inhale slowly for 4 seconds. And then hold it for 2. And exhale for 6. And here's the key. The key is to slow down. We run through our day and we sometimes run into walls unexpectedly. And those unexpected walls can feel like literally a wall, but hopefully you don't feel like physically hit that wall. But we've all been there, that 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I need a nap. Or we come home from work and we have not nourished our bodies and we are starving. And before we even get to put something in our mouth, we're screaming at a kid or snapping at our spouse. Or we're just in the pantry inhaling something, trying to make us feel better. And the reality is that when we hit that wall physically, it impacts everything else, right? The ripple effect of that physical wall impacts how we show up in our family, in our teams, in our leadership role, in our spouse, in our relationships, in everything, as well as how we take care of ourselves in that evening. Sometimes we hit a mental wall. We just can't think about this project anymore. Sometimes it's emotional, and we build a wall and we start keeping people farther and farther away from us because it's safety. It's a protection mechanism. But recognizing that when we are on the go and we are running and running and running and running, the chances of us hitting that wall amplify tenfold, if not more. So just being able to slow it down allows us to get present, and now we can respond versus react. Now, it's a great technique to do, but if we are not present in our life, how do we make it into a habit, right? It's great to do on the slides, like, oh, I watched Jen Beck. She taught me this great breathing, technique, but I haven't done it since. In anything that we're doing, to be able to layer in positive, to layer in a reset, to layer in really energy first leadership into our life, where we are filling our cup first and then pouring out, we've got to make it a habit. We've got to decide when we want to do it. James Cleary wrote a book called Atomic Habits. Love the book. He talks about habit stacking, right? So we've got to stack this breathing technique with something else. You might do it before you open your email. Maybe you do it right after a meeting, or sitting in your car before you walk in the door to your house. It takes 60 seconds to reset our nervous system, to get us to a place where we are really present. But that 60 seconds allows us to prevent blowouts and burnout and the ripple effect of hitting the wall, right? That 60-second strategy is so powerful. We've just got to make sure we do it. So I would love to hear from you. Do you have a time or another? I won't even say a time, because we'd be like, oh, at 10:15, I'm going to pull this breathing technique out of my back pocket. And the reality is that does not happen that way, right? We can't schedule our resets based on time. What does work is habit stacking it. So I would love to hear from you. Like, drop it in the comments below. What's one activity that you could stack this with? How can you create a new habit attached to something that you're already doing? Would it be when you finished a meeting? Would it be when you before you even turn on your computer or turn on your phone? How can you build this habit into your life? Okay? Because when you do this, it changes everything for who you are and who you are to everyone else, because you're present and engaged in your body. Okay. So, so when you think about that, when you think about changing something, adding something in that truly does serve you, think about not just when you could do it, but why to do it. There's a lot of what that's out there. If you ever watched any other video, it's like, oh, here's a great technique for this. Here's a great technique for that. When I first started in nutrition 25 years ago, there was a whole lot of different things you can do. And that hasn't changed. In fact, the things that you could do have grown by thousands. But the reality is what's right for you, right? How do you create that 1 degree shift? How do you create that one new habit? And it's determining what works for you and why do you want to do it. The tactic doesn't matter as much as the why you want to do it and the how you weave it into your day. So who would be most impacted if you showed up fully present? Who would be most impacted if you showed up in response versus reaction mode? It's so imperative that we get to a place where we are present in our life. I was talking with a client this morning, and she was talking about how she's really been practicing taking this time to slow things down. Ladies, if you are a high achiever, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where it's like the one more thing that, if I can just get one more thing before I walk out the door, I've got to do one more thing. I've got to grab one more thing. I've got to check one more thing off the list. And that'll give me peace. That'll bring me to a place where I feel more in control or more grounded. And unfortunately, it's elusive because there will always be one more thing. So it really doesn't matter if we get one more thing or 10 more things, because there's always going to be one more. And so we started talking through, and she was sharing with me how she's been practicing, like saying no to, I've got enough, and I'm going to give myself 2 extra minutes, 5 extra minutes to just prepare and just to get calm and present before I take on the next thing. And she did this last week as she was walking out the door to a very important meeting, and she wanted to be present for the meeting. So she slowed it down, and she was intentional to not do the one more thing. And because of that, when she got into the car, she was present. And that presence actually helped her to avoid what would have been a catastrophic car accident when the truck in front of her slammed on its brakes. She goes, normally I would have been on a call and I would have been handling one more thing before I walk into a client. But because I was present, I avoided a catastrophic car accident. And I get it. I'm the queen of one more thing and how do I get it done faster and easier and better? But sometimes we need to take that approach and turn it on ourselves. How can I get to a place where I'm taking care of me? One more way, one more step, one thing that's better. I would love it if you would just drop a heart if this shifted anything for you. And maybe even what's one thing that you're going to do differently because of today. Because again, when we hear something, it's like, oh, that's a nice idea. When we write it down, we anchor it. When we declare it, our brain goes, oh, she's serious. We should probably figure out how to make this happen. So drop it in the comments below. Let me know what's one thing that you can do today based on the conversation we just had. And then if you're looking for some other ways to be able to reset your nervous system, to slow it down, and to reset you that you can use each day, go to CompleteHealthRevolution.com, CompleteHealthRevolution.com/powerpause. That power pause, it's a checklist. It has 17 different ideas for you to take a moment to reset throughout the course of your day, to recharge yourself so that you can show up at your best and give everyone that you love the best version of you versus the leftovers at the end of the day. And I just want you to remember, you are not broken. You are in overdrive. Let's take it down, shift down one gear, be really intentional about what you're creating and how you're living on a daily basis so that you can thrive. And let's bring you back to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I can't wait to see you next Wednesday.